Good morning, students. How are you? I hope all are doing well. So today we will be discussing about evolution of genetic algorithm. We are in module 5, or we might complete module 5 today. So before we proceed further, let us see a quote by Martin Luther King. Hatred paralyzes life. Love releases it. Hatred confuses life. Love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life. Love illuminates it. So with that quote, we start genetic algorithm. So genetic algorithm is very interesting. These algorithms are inspired from nature. So before we come to genetic algorithm, let us see the evolution of genetic algorithm. One of the central challenges of computer science is to get a computer to do what needs to be done without telling it how to do it. So you might be laughing. So making computer more intelligent, that is machine learning, and that is very important for us. So as you go through the evolution of genetic algorithm, it dates back to Charles Darwin, 1959. He came out with the concept of natural selection, genetic inheritance, and evolution. Then some computer simulations of evolution started way back in 1954. Then Fraser developed the first genetic algorithm in 1957. 1960, John Holland developed genetic algorithm on his own way. The idea of evolutionary computation as part of AI was first introduced by Vogel in 1966. During the period of 70 to 75, John Holland and his students of the University of Michigan, they developed genetic algorithms, and he is considered as the father of GA. During 80s to 90s, GA and swarm intelligence method became very popular for computation. So what is the motivation and what is the necessity of GA? All of you will accept that nature is the motivation. We learn many things from nature. Nature automatically finds out the best. It finds out the fittest individuals from a species, those who are likely to survive more easily than others. If you look at the animals, let us say a herd of animals, maybe it is horses or cows, buffaloes, or any wild animal. If you consider a herd, the animal who walks at the last will be the weakest, because it might be having some problems in its limbs and it will fall easily to the clutches of wild animals. So the fittest will always survive. The unfit will vanish. This is what's happening now in this COVID season. We are very sorry to say so many of our people, human beings, died in this epidemic. Here again, it is a theory It is the theory that the fittest individuals will survive. So the unfit ones are losing their lives. So the same way we can find out the best solution among a number of solutions by using genetic algorithms from a given search space for a specific problem. So if most of the problems, whatever problems you see in day-to-day life, this can be classified into classification problems or regression problems or in general optimization problems. So in any optimization problem, what we do is we find either the maxima or the minima, or we find the best solution in general. So if you have a set of solutions means possible solutions, we can keep on eliminating the weak solutions, and we can keep on searching the input space, and finally we can arrive at the optimum solution. That is what exactly GA do. Now the necessity, we need a search of or an optimization process which can deal with complex multidimensional discontinuous problems. Such problems are very difficult to solve analytically. GAs are simple, they are easy, they are efficient, and using GA we can find global minima or maxima. They are faster and they can be implemented by digital computers. It can be used in huge search spaces defined for those variables. So in general, if you divide soft computing techniques, we can divide roughly into 3: fuzzy logic techniques, artificial neural network techniques, and then evolutionary algorithms. Under evolutionary algorithms, there are large number of algorithms, genetic algorithms, particle swarm optimization, BFO, DE, BBO. So there are many algorithms. We will concentrate only on genetic algorithm and just the basic principles of genetic algorithm. So these are some of the names of the genetic algorithms, and most of them are inspired by or inspired from nature, or we can call them bio-inspired algorithms. We can divide these algorithms roughly into 3: evolutionary algorithms, swarm-based algorithms, and ecology-based algorithm. If you see the swarm-based algorithm, you will see large number of algorithms like bird flocking algorithm, Stignergy algorithm, ACO is basically ant colony algorithms or ant colony optimization inspired from ants, fish schooling algorithm, bacterial foraging algorithm, firefly algorithm, social behavior of bees, frog leaping algorithm. So you can see we are inspired from almost all types of swarms. We will not go to any of them. We will concentrate our attention only on genetic algorithm, and that too with a limited depth. The only intelligent system on this planet are biological. Now the biological intelligences are designed by natural evolutionary processes. I mean, as we evolve, our intelligences are also optimized, or our intelligences increase from one evolution to or one generation to another generation. So for example, I am in one generation, all of you sitting in front of me is another generation, and obviously your generation will be more intelligent than my generation. That is why there is a gap between you and your parents. Whatever you say, your parents cannot understand many things. They have a limited sphere of intelligence, and your intelligence is always higher because you had been evolved. So try to understand your parents. They will give you advices and tips based on their experiences, but you have your own way of analyzing things and interpreting things. So take inputs from them and add to your knowledge. So these biological systems, they often work together in groups, in swarms or flocks, so that they have a collective intelligence. You just observe how birds are flying, how swarms are flying. They fly in a group, and you can, if you observe some of these insects fly in millions without hitting each other. So close they are flying. So that is the wonder, and what type of intelligence they are using. If we have this intelligence, we also can fly thousands of small robots, the robots of the size of a bee. We can make thousands of small robots, flying robots, and we can use it constructively or destructively. They don't appear to use logic, mathematics, complex planning, or any complicated model. Then how they are working? That is what we have to learn. They have complex information processing capability, and they do computational tasks which the current artificial intelligence, find it challenging. So in spite of having high-speed computers and systems, we still cannot process information in the speed of these biological systems. So natural inspired computing is an area which is promising, or it is also called biologically inspired computing. All biological organisms cope with the demand of their environment. So they cope up with the demands of their environment. They use solutions quite unlike the traditional human engineered approaches to problem solving. They find solution in a different way. I already told you, I don't know whether I told you, like how an ant goes on to find food. In the morning, a group of ants will start going here and there in search of food, and while they trace, or while they are going, they will be going on a zigzag path, and finally let us assume they find one ant finds food. He comes back through the same zigzag path. So how it is possible? How he remember the same zigzag path? So then again he takes all his friends and go through the same zigzag path and reaches the food, and they bring all the food back home for their families, children. But what is the beauty is, as time elapses, this zigzag path is optimized in the sense that the zigzag path length reduces, and after some time you will see that the ant will be traveling through the shortest path. You can do an experiment on ants at your home, and that is how you can yourself prove it. So how they do it? The ants when they go on, they emit a chemical called pheromones. I think it is pheromones. Okay, or you can say it is a type of scent which are ejected from their body. So this smell remains in the air for some time, and the ants know how much time it will be there in the air, so they will not go very far. They have a limited distance they will go, because they have to return back with this scent, otherwise they will be lost. They cannot come back. So once the ant finds the food, it comes back through the same path. Then all the ants will be going, and when all the ants are moving, a lot of these chemicals are ejected. So the strength of the smell will be, the intensity of the smell will be high. So these ants will be always looking or moving with the highest strength of these chemicals. So what happens is that as time passes, they will optimize the edges, the sharp edges. They will be cutting off the sharp edges, and slowly they will be optimizing their path to the minimum path. They exchange information about what they have discovered in places they have visited. So bio-inspired computation is a field devoted to tackling complex problems using computational methods, modeled after design principles encountered in nature. Here we have a comparison of classical computation and bio-inspired computation. Our classical computation is good in number crunching, dealing with numbers. It supports our thoughts. It is rule-based reasoning, and we repeat well-defined actions. We keep repeating. It is bad for pattern recognition, robustness to damage, dealing with vague and incomplete information, adapting and improving based on experience. So these are the pros and cons of classical computation. Bio-inspired computation takes a more evolutionary approach to learning. In traditional artificial intelligence is always programmed from above. The programmer creates the program and imbues it with its intelligence. In bio-inspired computation, it takes a bottom-up decentralized approach. In this computation, often involve the method of specifying a set of simple rules, a set of simple organisms, and which adhere to those rules. This is a funny picture of our evolution from chimpanzees, and now we are bending again to computers. So this is another funny picture which says that our evolution started from oceans, then to chimpanzees, then into human beings. Now we are computer addicted, and later we will be off the screen. Genetic algorithms will take place, or they will substitute us. Each species try to adapt with the gradually changing environment on the earth. That is very important. That is why we got evolved. Now we are going to define or understand how this knowledge is encoded within us. So for that we should understand chromosomes. So the knowledge of each species or the experience it gains is encoded in the chromosomes. And these chromosomes undergo transformation during reproduction. So if you see the evolution from one generation to another generation, the chromosome of parents, for example, the chromosome of a father and the chromosome of a mother, part of their chromosomes will combine each other, and that will be the chromosome of the child. So what happens in this recombination of chromosomes is it leads to more fit species that are more likely to survive. I mean, when the chromosomes are combined, again, what is chromosome and what are the parts of chromosome, we are coming, just wait for it. So the essential qualities from both the chromosomes of the parents are inherited to the children. So the children will have a better characteristics or improved characteristics. They will be more fit to live in this universe. If this does not happen, then that species may extinct. So GA is search heuristic that mimics the process of natural evolution. So basically, genetic algorithm is inspired from the recombination which happens in animals, the recombination what happens to our chromosomes. So genetic algorithm is inspired from it, and in each iteration we will find a better solution or fitter solution, and we will continue this till we find the best solution. So basically it is simulating the selection process in chromosomes, then the crossover mutation, etc., which goes on in chromosomes. So this can be used in optimization problems and search problems. Now let us go and understand what is chromosome. Each cell of a living thing contains chromosome, a lot of chromosomes. And what is chromosome? A chromosome contains a set of genes. And what is genes? A gene is a block of DNA. So you can understand that a chromosome is a combination of many genes, and each gene has some aspect of the organism. For example, one gene will tell you the color of the eyes. One gene will tell you about your hair color. Another will tell you the skin color. Another gene for your habits. For example, you're a vegetarian, you're a non-vegetarian. Another will tell you your characteristics, your behavior. So all your characteristics are encoded and stored in genes. Now this is very important part of evolution. So if you take a chromosome, these chromosomes contains a set of genes. Each set stores various aspects of that particular parent. So now let us take one chromosome of the father and one chromosome of the mother, and when it is combined to create a new generation, so the new generation, the child, will have characteristics of the father as well as the mother. So a collection of genes is called genotype, and a collection of aspects is called phenotype. So a recombination means a recombination of genes from parents and small amount of mutation. This mutation is very important. So while copying, something keeps changing. That changing creates a diversity in the next generation. So when you take part of the chromosome from the father and the mother, and instead of combining it blindly, let us say one gene is changed little bit or some error is put into it. So that totally changes the characteristics of the child. This is called mutation. You might have heard about the COVID virus undergoing mutations. And that mutation brings sometimes desirable characteristics or undesirable characteristics in the next generation. So this brings diversity in the future generation. So the fitness of an organism is how much it can reproduce before it dies. So the evolution is purely based on survival of the fittest. So before winding up, let me ask you one question, or I cannot ask you a question because this is a video recording. I will answer also. We belong to the class of Homo sapiens. When Homo sapiens first evolved, our ancestors were also there. So that there was a time when our ancestors and Homo sapiens both existed together. Can you tell me what happens to our ancestors? See, the major difference between our ancestors and Homo sapiens was basically in two things. One thing, we started remembering things, we started storing things, and then finally the invention of fire. So our ancestors, they were called Neanderthals. They were not storing things. They used to hunt, eat. So they were not storing food, so they depended on what they earned on that day. But Homo sapiens started storing food, and then also they started farming. So that was a major difference between Homo sapiens and our ancestors. Can you tell me what happened to our ancestors? Where they go? How they vanished? I referred many literature. I could not find the answer. But my conclusion is, we eat them. This is my conclusion. That is survival of the fittest. Even in the deep African forests, there are tribes which will fight each other, and if they kill, they will eat. Even today it is happening. So with that, we wind up today's class. Can you see how much beautiful is this fort? This is the Gwalior fort in Gwalior, and the inscriptions found inside the fort dates back to 6th century, and this is the second oldest record of the usage of zero. It was inscribed on a temple in this fort. So this shows that we were using zero in the 6th century. So Indians were the first to use zero, because without zero the numbering system cannot go ahead. So this clearly shows the mathematicians who lived in those centuries. And now you will ask, what is the first record of zero? So this is the second record of zero, and that the first record also was found in Bakshali manuscript in Sanskrit. So the oldest extant manuscript in Indian mathematics. It contains the earliest non-Indian use of the zero symbol. It is written in Sanskrit. So you can understand Sanskrit was popular at that time, and especially locally. And this place is now in Pakistan. It does not belong to India anymore, but it was in India earlier. So this is the first proof of the usage of zero. So with that, we wind up today's class. Thank you very much. See you again with another or the continuation of genetic algorithm in the next class. Have a nice